Yeah, take your time. Take your time. Oh well.
Annie, you want me to take a minute? Behind is changing.
Sorry guys, Annie's trying to get her computer to work, so talk amongst yourselves. Well, I might need it. My computer has to have the battery.
Yeah, receipts and let the send. I know the rules. I know the rules.
Shine, can I get one? What? Yeah, here. Wait, but my co-sponsor?
Read it. Tell me if it's horrible idea.
Oh, no, it's not.
For real this Okay, welcome everyone to our final meeting of the Third Assembly. I'm not going to give any kind of grand speech right now. That can wait till the transition dinner, but I look forward to this meeting, and I'm glad to, the last time, see all of your beautiful faces. I'm going to start with secretary, roll call.
All right, Michael Oldinger.
Here.
Mike Anderson.
Here.
Justin Midge.
Here.
Ruth Cangarata. Mark Cannon.
Here.
Ralph Cavello.
Here.
Dustin Dove.
Here.
Adam Perone. Pat Gordon.
Here.
Nicholas Hahn. Hubert Hine.
Here.
Andrew Pearson.
Here.
Gavin Kieran. John King.
Here.
Kayla McPherson. Here. Daniel Lersch.
Here.
Sam Lohner.
Here.
Benjamin Lombard. Stephen Lucas. Nick Mann.
Here.
Taylor McClernand. Here. John Malloy.
Here.
Samantha Miller. Here. Christopher Morrell. Josepha Munn. Christopher Knox.
Present.
Ellie Okelberg. Joanne Olson.
Here.
Greg Plum. Brian Poland. Kelly Potter. Megan Quinn. Here. Christian Ragland. Valerie Russell.
Present.
Amy Sanders. Here. Philip Slusser. Richard Tremansky.
Here.
Pauline Smith. Here. Matthew Smith.
Present.
Michael Smith. Ricardo Torres. Ian Vickery. Mike Wallace. Cindy Wong. Here. Kara Zinger. Here. Nicole Zinni. Here. I'm sorry, my computer froze, so I'm using an old attendance. So if I didn't call you, like if you were one of the people that was like at the end, just come talk to me at the end. I'm gonna like fix it right now. Sorry about that.
All right, sorry. Okay, before you have the agenda for this evening, are there any changes that need to be made to it? Any objection to the agenda as it stands now? Representative Szymanski?
On the special presentations, new business, they say none. I think we should strike that as first step. Just as none.
Oh, okay. All right. So strike none under new business. Is there a second on that? Any objections?
No, object.
You object to striking
No,
none?
no, I do not object to that.
Okay. I didn't think so. All right, any other objections or changes, comments on the agenda? Representative Malloy?
Yes, I'd like to add a unnumbered resolution. I'd like to introduce from the floor,
Okay,
which I guess would be 29.
resolution 30.
Alright?
You can just make that motion during new business, okay?
Alright, done.
All right, anything else? All right, seeing none, agenda is adopted. Moving on to adoption of the past general meeting minutes. As usual, like I've been saying all year, you should have received these and reviewed them via email. Any objections to adopting those minutes? Okay, minutes adopted. Open student forum. And then any students here to address the assembly, Mr. Goodstein.
Hello everyone. I'm here tonight to remind you about all the great election stuff that's going on right now, and I would like UQI members, both current and those people who are running for re-election, to show up to many of these events. First thing, being that there was such an overwhelming response to the stamping session tonight, we are going to hold another one tomorrow night in addition to the one that we're supposed to have next week. It'll be from 7 to 8. Those who are running will receive an email about this. Friday, we also have Meet the Candidates, which is going to go on from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's going to be on the Hub lobby. There'll be a table there with basically people hopefully wearing election shirts that they come in time. This is your only time that you have to actually campaign in the Hub, and the only location in the Hub you are allowed to campaign. So if you are a candidate, I would highly suggest taking advantage of this, especially if you want to get out there and meet some of the people who might be voting for you. Next week, March 30th, Monday, we have the second presidential debate. It's at 7:30 in the Hub Auditorium. I strongly encourage everyone to attend. They're usually a good time. And lastly, remember that the election day itself is on, April 1st, 6 a.m., 10 p.m., vote.psu.edu. As for campaigning, everything seems to be going pretty well with most of the candidates. There really haven't been too many issues. If anybody has any questions about the election, please let me know. All right.
Are there any questions for Mr. Goodstein? No?
Okay, great. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Any other students here to address the assembly? No? All right. Moving on, report by the president, Mr. Kierans.
All right, well, I just want to thank everybody for what was a great year. This is our final meeting together, and I'm sure Ralph and maybe Richmond will have some things to say as well, but all in all, I think we definitely had a positive year. What we came in with is a lot of people who was the first time in UPUA, a lot of freshmen, sophomores, and some juniors thrown in there. And what we came out with was a strong group of leaders. So I have a lot of respect for all of you. I am quite pleased with how the year went. When you look at past years compared to this year, the first year, they spent just trying to figure out what was going on. The second year, they finally got a constitution through, and this year you can actually point to some things we did, some concrete victories. And going into next year, we set it up for the next assembly to have $139,000. So you all should be very proud of yourselves and the efforts that you put forth throughout this year. And I don't want to say too much else because we'll keep it moving, but thank you.
Questions? None? All right. Moving on. Okay, Representative Harrison.
President Pierce, could we get an update on legal services with the student activity board meeting being this Friday?
Yeah, this Friday there was a subcommittee meeting which I feel like we made a lot of strong compromise in, and it seems very likely that we could have a positive result as far as that. There's a strong possibility that by Friday we'll come out with a victory. So.
Any other questions for Mr. Kierans? I just have a quick word. Representative Slusser had some health issues recently. That's why he hasn't been with us. So there's a card being passed around for him. If you want to know more details, you can talk to me or Ralph or Gavin. Or there's a letter attached with your agenda. Okay. Any questions? All right, moving on. Special presentations. First we have our advisor, Ms. Mary Edgington.
Hi everyone, how you doing tonight? Once again, Once again, Ralph asked me to address the assembly, so I thought, sure, I would like to talk a little bit about this past year. As Gavin said, I think that it's been very successful, and for me, being the first time here at Penn State and with UPUA, I want to thank you all for welcoming me. I've really enjoyed being a part of this group, and I've learned so much about Penn State, UPUA, the history, and really a lot about the hub and union student activities and many organizations that you are all involved in. So thank you for welcoming me. I think that this group has really developed over the 7 months that I've witnessed you. I don't know if you remember, but there was this one meeting in October, and it was very contentious, and there I was a little nervous. I thought there might be a fight breaking out on the floor. And then I look at this past month, and you really have all learned how to agree to disagree. You've learned how to respect differences, and you've really had some really great debates. So it's really been exciting for me to see how you develop from September to now. So you should really be proud of yourselves, and I really look forward to working again with hopefully many of you next year. I also think that one of the largest challenges you will have is always representing who you represent. Your constituencies, getting out and talking to the people, all of the Penn State students. So I think that's the challenge that I would put forth towards you. Get out from your student groups that you know, your cliques, and talk to some of the students who don't know what UPUA is all about, and really try to get a feel for the whole student body. That's very difficult, it's very time consuming, I don't really know how you all do that, but that's the challenge I think that you all face next year as this group continues to grow. And thanks to the Collegian, you really have supported UPUA and really have put the name out there, so good for you. But I wanted to leave on a lighter note. Kind of a positive person, I can have a sense of humor, I like to laugh at what I do, so I put together the top 10 list of Mary's questions for UPUA. So I hope I don't offend anybody. This is just all in fun, and there is a little bit of seriousness behind the questions if you could figure them out. So here we go. Number 10. Will there ever be a UPUA meeting that starts on time? But improvement has occurred, it really has. Number 9, will there ever be any old business? Think about that one. And Valerie, sorry about this, number 8, will there ever be a woman selected as best dressed? Number 7, will Hillary Lewis's name live in perpetuity as the UPUA president on the UPUA webpage? Number 6, what is really done with the videotaping of this meeting? And who is that guy? Number 5, as a transparent organization, does it make sense to have frosted windows enclosing the UPUA office? Number 4, who knew that Wally-Palooza would ever materialize as a possible UPAC-funded event? Number 3, do you ever wonder how much homework the UPUA Association directors and staff accomplish during a UPUA assembly meeting? Number 2, will there ever be a time when Representative Karasik does not have a question or comment about a resolution? And number 1, who could have predicted in the fall that UPUA would be generously funded by the Student Activity Fee Board? But that's my comments, thank you.
Are there any questions? Mr. Harrison?
No, I don't.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. Okay, and last but not least, we have Mr. Richard E. Shermansky Jr.
Thank you. Oh yeah, very proud of that. How's everyone doing tonight? You forgot one actually. One of them would be, how many times has Representative Shermansky motioned to end debate? I'm like the Kevin Kelly here. I have the most motions, but they're all really for nothing. So, well, of course, all props to Kevin Kelly. But, I really was going to come here and I had a great, mind-blowing speech for all of you here. But then I realized there was a last dinner. And now I'm going to lobby to give a speech there instead. Because I think that'd be better. And I don't know what any of you guys have heard, but no, I'm not drunk. All right? Everyone keeps asking, Rich, are you a little buzzed? No, I'm not. I have never been more sober. But anyway, sorry guys, it's your time. Anyway, I really just want to say, guys, this has been one amazing year. I've been in this organization for 2 long years. The first year, I really don't even call that getting much done. It was rough. But I really do want to point out you guys have done an amazing job. And as many of you do know, I worked in Harrisburg in 2007. I was an intern there. I did a lot of very interesting research. In fact, I'm the only person in the state of Pennsylvania to do this type of research. But because of this, I got to know and meet a lot of interesting people, a lot of behind-the-scenes people. And basically, when we were in Harrisburg for the rally in the Rotunda, you know, it dawned on me, you know, this organization needs to be recognized. And I know we've been recognized by the students, the faculty, but have we been recognized by the state of Pennsylvania? No, we have not until today. I have here a proclamation by the state of Pennsylvania congratulating us on our stellar 2008-2009 year. Yes, it is actually signed by the Lieutenant Governor, the Speaker of the House, the Governor, and of course, yes, the future President of the United States, Richard Szymanski Jr. And those are real solutions. I actually did have the opportunity to sit down with these people and have them sign this, and it was just a real honor to finally have us recognized by, not, as I said, by the students, the faculty, but the state of Pennsylvania recognizes us for all our great success. And, you know, this is for each and every one of you, okay? So, congrats, guys. You've done some really great work. And I will stand for questions now.
Questions?
Anybody? My dad hates me, actually.
Thank you. Representative Mance.
If you don't mind me asking, how exactly were you able to pull this off, you know, with important people from across the state of Pennsylvania?
Well, as I said, because of my internship, I got to know a lot of people. I know who you have to go to speak to. It's because of the office I was in. I spoke to my former boss. I told them everything we've done. They sent a phone call here, that phone call goes there. Next thing you know, I'm sitting in the Lieutenant Governor's office, and yada, yada, yada. You know.
Correct.
Anybody else?
Any other questions for Mr. Szymanski, Representative Szymanski?
What's next for Mr. Command?
I'm actually going to be running for the 117th District State Representative in 1 year. So look out for me on that one. Vobeck is going down.
Representative Collins Smith, you have a question?
That's my question.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, can I give a speech at the dinner?
Ask Mr. Goodstein. Not now, maybe. Okay, well, we'll talk.
Sweet.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, moving on to old business. Of course, none. New business. We're going to begin with Resolution 29, promotion of minor learning experiences by preserving and etc. by Mr. Matthew Smith. Give an introduction.
Sure. This issue is the nature of the problem is pretty simply laid out, and it's been something that academics are very working for most of the year. Glenn Williams also taken this up, but Richard was still the committee who works with AQ, and basically we are trying to get ahead on business before the assembly gets out, and because I will be attending AQ on April 2nd, and Sam's going in my stead, we want to have a document that he could take with him to discuss and basically have the assembly behind it. The key thing is that we really feel the document that's come out of AQ recently regarding the inclusion of minors and majors in residency requirements for change assignment students is in the best interest of those who are transferring to USC Park from the Commonwealth system. And this resolution would essentially back Sam when he goes to AQ on April 2nd.
Okay, will you stand for any questions? Okay, any questions for Representative Smith? No? Okay, discussion on Resolution 29. Representative Smith.
Sure. In trying to make sure that I do my job appropriately, I met with a couple of people who were behind this over the last week to make sure that, I had all the background information straight. And so based off of what I've learned, I want to make an amendment to my own document. I was not able to chair Academic Affairs the last Wednesday, but at this time, I'll move, and I can do this in two separate amendments if you'd like, but in line 6 on page 2, to remove prior to, or strike prior to, and the amendment would insert during, and line 7 through 8, strike the inclusion of the voice of the student assigned to the committee may impact, and at the end of 10, add is not in the best interest of change of assignment students. I feel that gives all parties who are interested in this, both the chair of the committee and also Sam, who will be going in my stead, the best opportunity to success, making sure that the resolution that will come to AQ has been essentially vetted by all parties. So do you need to repeat the amendment?
Yeah.
Okay, like I said, I can do this in 3 parts, but at first, I move that in line 6, change prior to to during.
Any objections? Okay, then it passes.
I'll move that 7 through 8, that beginning at the from the inclusion and ending at impact, I'd like to strike that.
Second.
Okay, any objections? Okay, amendment passes.
And finally, I would move that after university, the inclusion would be is not in the best interest of change of assignment students.
Any objections?
Could you repeat that one last time?
After university in line 10, yeah, it should be 10.
The end of line 10, yeah.
Is not in the best interest of change of assignment students.
Okay, and there's a second. Any objections? No, amendment passes. Further discussion on resolution 29. Representative Szymanski. Is there a second on ending debate?
Second.
Any objections to ending debate? No, okay, moving to the vote. Resolution 29, Secretary, roll call.
Okay, I have the right one now. Mike Aldinger,
Yes.
Gretchen Braun,
Yes.
Justin Bish,
Yes.
Christina Boggs, yes. Gina Chang, Mark Cannon,
Yep.
Ralph Corello,
Yes.
Dustin Dove,
Yes.
Robin Engel, yes. Nicholas Hine, Hubert Hines, Andrew Pearson,
Yes.
John King,
Yes.
Daniel Lurch,
Yes.
Sam Lomner,
Yes.
Benjamin Lombard, Stephen Lucas, Nick Mance,
Yes.
sorry, Haley McClurnan, Sean Malloy,
Yes.
Samantha Miller, Chris Morrell, Christopher Knott,
Yep.
Ellie Opelberg, Bree Patag, Greg Plum, Kelly Potter, Megan Quinn, Christian Ragland, Amy Sanders, Philip Slusser, Richard Szymanski,
Yes.
Colleen Smith, Matthew Smith,
Yes.
Michael Smith, Michael Wallace,
Yes.
Max Wenkos,
Yes.
Kara Zinger.
Yes.
Resolution 29 passes 2900. 2900. Okay, moving on to resolution 30 possibly? Representative Malloy?
Good, yeah. I'd like to motion to bring a legislation I passed out, bill card called Resolution 30, to the floor by 2/3.
Second.
Okay, you want to give a quick introduction?
Yes, before it gets introduced, I'd like to add additional co-sponsors, so it can be properly introduced. The following co-sponsors are going to be added, in addition to Representative Lucas and myself. Representative Andrew Karasik, Representative Nick Nance, Representative Richard Szymanski, Representative Dustin Dove, Representative Ellie Ogelberg, Representative Amy Sanders, Representative Mark Hannon, Representative Megan Quinn, Representative Kara Zinker, Representative Matt Smith, Representative Justin Dish, Representative Samantha Miller, Representative Robin Engel. That is all I have right now. Would you like to add yourself?
Karasik, who's speaking out of turn. Okay.
Can I have a copy for you?
All right. Can you give a quick introduction? Thanks.
So I was recently made aware that Take Back the Night, which I feel is an important program here at Penn State. If you're not familiar with Take Back the Night, basically it's a night where victims of sexual abuse rally together to help spread, help become advocates for each other and for other women at Penn State and in-state college to spread awareness of sexual molestation, rape, and other violent action towards women that has occurred on this campus. Right now, they have funding and they are organized. They are just not a formal student group, so they need sponsorship in order to be able to put things in things like stall stories and stuff like that. So I was made aware of this, and I thought that this was something that the student government should fully support. It is a tradition of Penn State. In the past, it was poorly attended, but they're hoping that with our sponsorship and the additional advertising they'll be able to do with our sponsorship, it can once again be a robust program. Any questions?
Representative Knock.
Yes.
I know that Take Back the Night was sponsored by many. Was it?
As I'm not entirely sure. Usually there is a collaborative group that brought together. I know that the Women's Studies Department and some professors in there are working. I can pass it over to Caitlin Ludgate, who is on the advertising committee, if you'd like to ask specific questions as to the history. Caitlin.
Yeah, I thought that it was happened last year, but it was training in college. Maybe it was not last year. I could be wrong.
I don't know. All I know right now is that they currently do not have a student group that's sponsoring them, and they need that in order to do the advertising that they need to be successful.
Representative Lohner.
In the plan of action, it mentions how PPY will be mentioned on all the advertisements. Do you have any idea of the scope of advertising?
Flyers in mailboxes and on campus, I believe is going to be said, and just like I said, also stall stories. I don't know how active they're going to be in downtown. Once again, once we get to the debate, I can pass it over to Caitlin Ludgate if she can answer more specific questions. But I don't think it hurts to have the UPUA logo promoted with such a great program such as this, no matter where it is around campus or around town.
All right, and once again, the questions are really supposed to be geared towards if we're supposed to be, if you'd like to bring this to the floor or not. We can just keep that in debate. So are there any objections to bringing this to the floor? No? All right, discussion on resolution 30. Thank you very much. Representative Lloyd.
Yes, I'd like to pass the floor to Caitlin Ludgate, who is the advertising director this year for Take Back the Night. I brought this slide.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm part of the criminology class 423. We discuss rape and other forms of violence against women. And it's also part of the Women's Studies Department. And for the class, we have to do an activism project. And this year we found out that the Center for Women Students was not putting on the Take Back the Night march due to lack of attendance in recent years. And we felt that the march is very important for students. 1 in 4 college women will have suffered from some type of form of sexual abuse by the time they graduate college. That's 25% of the female population on this campus, which is an large percentage. And I think it's important because it's an opportunity for survivors to come and share their experiences, to know that they are not on this campus alone, facing recovery challenges. And it's also a time people can come together and let them know that sexual assault, rape, dating, and domestic violence will not be tolerated on this campus, that it is not supported. And we really need the sponsorship in order that we can advertise throughout residence halls, on floors, so the RAs can hang up flyers, and through stall stories and different forms of advertising that we cannot do as a classroom of students.
Will you stand for any questions?
Yeah.
If you say no, that's fine too. Okay, any questions for her? Representative Lohner?
So just to be clear, we're just granting, I guess we're just granting the fact that we're in RSO to just we're a student organization. That's also just granting that,
Yeah, there's no money, anything like that.
Mr. Cairns?
Have you gone to Arch as well?
No, we have not.
I think they'd be good as far as especially stall stories too, something you have.
I did talk to a head, I was an RA and I talked to my former, she's now an area coordinator, I believe in West Falls. And unless we are an official student organization, she said that we couldn't put that stuff in stall stories and advertise in the residence halls.
Okay. But after this, we could, correct?
Oh, would we?
Yeah.
If I could set that up, yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions for her? All right, thank you. Further debate, resolution 30. Mr. Cabela.
In the past, I'm almost pretty sure UPWA has lended some support informally or otherwise in the exec board. And I know USG at one time sponsored or lent support monetarily at this event. So student government has had a tradition of trying to help these grassroots initiatives, informative initiatives. And I think this is, given the time-sensitive nature of this, I'm glad it was brought to the floor via emergency action. So I would urge you guys to support it. And with that, I move to enter the
Any objections? Okay, further discussion on resolution 30. Sorry. Secretary, roll call.
Okay, Nick Oldinger.
Yes.
Gretchen Braun.
Yes.
Justin Fish.
Yes.
Christina Boggs. Yes. Gina Chang. Mark Cannon. Ralph Cavella.
Yes.
Justin Dove.
Yes.
Robin Engel.
Yes.
Nicholas Hunt. Hubert Hines.
Yes.
Andrew Kersick.
Yes.
John King.
Yes.
Daniel Lurch.
Yes.
Sam Lohner.
Yes.
Benjamin Lombard. Stephen Lucas. Nick Mantz.
Yes.
Haley McClernon. Sean Malloy.
Yes.
Samantha Miller.
Yes.
Christopher Morrell. Christopher Knopf.
Yep.
Ellie Ogelberg. Rita Tay.
Yes.
Greg Plum. Kelly Potter.
Yes.
Megan Quinn.
Yes.
Christian Ryland. Amy Sanders. Philip Slusser. Richard Trumansky.
Yes.
Colleen Smith.
Yes.
Matthew Smith.
Yes.
Michael Smith. Michael Wallace.
Yes.
Max Winkos.
Yes.
Kara Singer.
Yes.
Resolution 30 passes 29-0-0. Moving on. Mr. Cabela.
I'm moved to bring another resolution to the floor by 2/3. You should have it in front of you. It is a number, but it should be labeled Resolution 31 entitled Support of Off-Campus Menu Plan.
Okay. Does everyone have a copy of that? No. Who does not have a copy of Resolution 31? Lots of people.
I was informed by the president, copies were distributed, so I do apologize.
Are there copies nearby that you can look at, maybe disperse them better?
Yeah, it looks like they stopped.
Okay. Just give us a minute then, so you guys get them.
Who doesn't have copies?
Back row mostly.
Okay. Can you pass
There.
that along?
Do you have this? Are extra copies sitting around somewhere? Like, President McLernan? Are there copies of Resolution 31 sitting near you? No?
There were 50 copies made and supposedly passed around. It's really strange.
Okay, so who still does not have a copy? Same crowd? Okay. Okay. So that's a lot of people. Can we distribute more evenly throughout the room? Would anyone like this Resolution 31 to be read?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Resolution 31, support of off-campus meal plan. Nature of the problem. Currently, the only system in place for students in the off-campus meal plan, as well as Lion Cash. Currently, the only system in place. The off-campus student union and at times UPUA have been working on creating an off-campus meal plan for some time now. There is a clear need to create a better option as to pass on savings and convenience to off-campus students. Current OCSU President and Director for the Executive Board, Pat Gordon, has been leading up a new version of the plan, recommended course of action. UPUA supports the efforts of the off-campus student union towards creating an off-campus meal plan and will collaborate with them to make this a reality. In the future, a plan will be presented to the UPUA to reflect the progress of the following plan. Below is the new model being proposed. These are a series of bullets. Eliminate all board, moving solely to Lion Cash. Second, more direct pricing for students. Third, creating Lion Cash packages prepaid through Versar accounts. 4, allowing students to add money through the loans and payments. 5, locking in Lion Cash so it cannot be withdrawn. 6, keeping finance charges for merchandisers off campus at 3%. 7, potential new profit on charges for university. 8, can apply to all Commonwealth campuses. Improvements for students. These are a series of bullets. On-campus students will benefit these ways. That's not in the language. But, potentially can use Lion Cash for on or off-campus purchases. Second, we'll keep all funds on one card. Next bullet, off-campus students will improve these ways. 1, would be encouraged to eat on campus for meals between classes. And then the third bullet is both will benefit these ways. Individual companies may become more interested to join Lion Cash system and apply discounts to attract customers, and funds will not be lost after school year. Respectfully submitted, Gab Kieran, UPUA President. Is there a second? Any objections to bringing this to the floor?
I object. I was going to give a little introduction and move the table.
Okay.
This until we can provide copies for everyone. So basically, I was asked by Gavin to bring this to the floor on behalf of Pat Gordon, who I am going to yield the floor in a second. Like I said, this is really time sensitive, is why it's been brought to the floor. Clearly, you can see by the nature of how this was brought. But basically, UPUA has supported the off-campus. idea of an off-campus meal plan. It was included in resolution last year when we had our referendum, in which the student body voted overwhelmingly. It was actually one of the reasons why we had the referendum last year. We got support from downtown businesses. This year we didn't really follow through, as it wasn't really a major campaign issue. I don't believe of any representative. I certainly did make it a priority. But OCSU, our friends at OCSU, have been working diligently on trying, and to my understanding, will be presenting this plan to some senior executives trying to move this forward. And so with that, I'm going to yield this to Pat Gordon. And when Pat Gordon's done, we answer a couple questions. I'm going to move to postpone this until the end of the agenda, so I can go make copies so that everyone has them.
All right, everybody. First things I just kind of want to clear. I'm really sorry. I thought we had a projector at these meetings. As you noticed by roll call, I'm not here often. But I do have a presentation that goes along with this. But it's not really an off-campus meal plan. This is a general meal plan. One of the things off-campus student union has been looking at is how the meal plans are allocated and actually the cost breakdown. And unfortunately, through this, you can't actually see it as clearly. But really, right now, you have 3 ways to pay for your meal plan, a meal on campus. You get cash, Lion Cash, and a la board. Cash is obviously even. Lion Cash, you get about a 10% discount when buying in Commons. And everything that I'm going to talk about, just to make it simple, is Commons meal plans. Just because you guys can't really see the little screen I'm working off of. So if you use Lion Cash, you get a 10% discount off the cash price. And if you use a la board, you get a 65% discount. The way that your actual meal plan works out is you're anywhere from about 3.5 to 2.5 cents per actual point that you purchase. That's what to even get a meal plan, you have to pay almost $2,000 just to buy into the point system. Now with this worked out, the meal plan 1 and meal plan 2 actually are more expensive than just paying simple cash. If you were to put all of this money on the Lion Cash, you'd have to buy meal plan 5 to actually make any real substantial cost savings for this. Meal plan 4 is even or 10% different per meal. So clearly there's a disconnect between what students are buying and what students are actually going to save on. So what I'd like to do is move everything over to Lion Cash, because this is where you actually get a real cost breakdown. Students will know how much they're spending on each meal, and students will be able to allocate that easily. So my suggested system, and what OCSU has supported, is eliminating the a la board, moving solely to Lion Cash, creating Lion Cash packages just as there are for the a la board, where students will be able to come in knowing about how much Lion Cash they will need to purchase for the general meal plans that we have now, knowing about how often you'll eat. The same meal calculator will be able to work out, but it'll be a direct pricing system for students. This will allow students to pay with loans, so it will go on your Bursar's billing account, and it will be able to be paid through student loans and through regular payments, so parents will be able to see how they're paying for Bursar, or if you're a student paying for themselves, they will see a direct payment. With this system, it does allow students, both on and off campus, to use their meal points off campus. Because there will be elimination, it will be just like Lion Cash. So for many of you, you can go downtown and use your Lion Cash at, let's say, the corner room. So maybe on a Friday night, instead of eating in the Commons, you could then go downtown, have your meal, like have a sit-down serve meal in maybe the corner room, or you can go to McClanahan's and buy your weekly grocery shopping as well. Where the university will benefit from this is that on Lion Cash purchases, there's about a 3% finance charge that goes along with it. If you're dealing with like a Visa, it's the same as a credit card. Visa charges about 1.7, Lion Cash charges about 3%. So the university will be making out a substantial pay increase on these purchases, moving almost $27 million over, because that's how much students currently spend, about, don't quote me on any numbers, about 20%, but $27 million on meal plans currently. This will be able to apply to Commonwealth campuses as well, because they are currently using meal points as well. So if they move, they all have Lion Cash capability as well, from my understanding. So they will be able to use the Lion Cash, and there will be a complete university move over. So as though I do want to have UPUA support backing on this one, I am also going after ARSH's support, because I feel like they are most effective with being on campus. And I would like to reach out to CCSG in the next couple of days to gain their support as well, because it will be affecting all campuses that do offer a meal plan, most of which are the ones with living options. The reasons for improvement. Obviously, on-campus students will now have complete ability to purchase anywhere. This makes an open market, so they can go down to downtown, and they can still buy their meals on campus. Obviously, for location, on-campus still will be a hotspot, especially for those who live farther downtown. You will be able to eat on campus for most days. And it will keep all your funds on one card. On-campus students have to use Lion Cash to pay for laundry. Most snacks you can buy out of the vending machines have a Lion Cash capability. And I would suggest to them that if moving on with buying new vending machines, that they will link it up to Lion Cash, as well as now you can purchase food on there. Off-campus students, this actually opens up on campus. To actually eat on campus, to make it worth your while, since you have to buy meal plan 5, you have to eat on campus about 3 to 4 times a day. Obviously, off-campus students are not on campus that much. Maybe they want a lunch in between meals or dinner in between, a class and coming to this level of need. It's simply just not cost benefit. You might as well just pay cash, or more importantly, you should put it on line cash and you'll actually save more money. So this opens up, the 30-something thousand students that live off campus now can eat on campus for maybe a meal a day, maybe two, but certainly not 3 or 4 like they would have simply bought the meal plan. Currently, meal plans, there's only 635 that are sold to off-campus students right now, so clearly they're not being able to be serviced by the meal plan situation. Both will be able to benefit through this because individual companies, with opening up this huge market, they'll be more willing to join Lion Cash. Pretty much, you'll jump onto it. Funds will not be lost at the end of the year like meal points are. I do think this is an uphill battle. I do know university has a lock on the meal plan, and I think that we have potential for growth with this huge market living off campus. You'll still be able to collect finance charges, and they'll streamline the two processes, Lion Cash and point system. The stipulations will be that Lion Cash will not be able to use downtown for alcoholic purchases because you will be able to get it from student money, from your Bursars account, and from student loans. So obviously we're going to block it out. There'll be a 3-strike system. If you heard it, if you sell alcohol, there's 3 strikes per year. You're going to be removed from the Lion Cash purchasing system. I'm just going to wrap it up real quick. The reason why this is coming to the floor so late is that I have a meeting in 2 weeks with senior staff. With your elections coming up, you guys are not having another meeting where I can gain your support, but this will be a little bit more solidified. So I am sorry that you guys don't have this in front of you. But really, your support is a big part, and all the other organizations coming together will make this actually happen. I have a meeting with senior staff. I will invite, if it's before April 1st, Gavin Kieran's our president, I would like to invite you. If it's after 1st, and I will invite the new elected official from your group, because I would like your support. I do think this is a positive step. I don't see any downfall by any of the students. Nobody can get hurt by the system. It only is opening up more. University will have to take a little bit more risk, but there's a lot of potential for growth. So seeing how I've already overstepped my time, pass it on to you guys. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much. At this time, we're going to have to bring it to the floor by 2/3. So are there any objections to bringing it to the floor? No. Okay, Mr. Gabelli.
I move to table new business until the after committee report, so I can go make copies of this for everyone to distribute, and then we can ponder this a little bit and then ask some questions of Pat and have some more informed discussion on that.
Is there a second?
Can I just ask a question?
Sure, Representative Szymanski.
Yeah, this is kind of touchier, but I went to a Commonwealth campus. I did not have the great opportunity using Lion Cash. What exactly is Olive Board?
I'm going to yield the floor to Mr. Pat Gordon.
I would like to.
Yeah, go ahead. I accept.
Olive Board is simply just a point system. You'll just purchase onto the Olive Board. You pay points instead of paying dollars to actually get into your meal plan. So to get into a dinner, it's about $3.75 instead of full price of $12. But you pay an initial $2,000 to get into the Olive Board system.
Okay, so is there any objections to tabling this to at the end of committee reports?
Can I object?
No.
I really can't, but can I somebody object for me? I actually have to leave. I'm presenting this to another organization as well. We can pass these things around. Literally, it just says everything I just said. This isn't really much.
I'll withdraw my motion then.
Okay.
I'm really sorry for the timing of this.
Okay, so since there are no objections to bring it to the floor, discussion on resolution 31. Representative Hines.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
Alright, so if we did this,
Oh, I can say a question. I just couldn't wait. Sorry.
Okay.
alright, if we did this, do we get like, say,
Can you stand, please?
do we get the discount that we get now, like with the meal plan, or will we get 10%?
Right now, currently, Lion Cash gets 10%. Seeing as they can operate on that 10%, and that's how much your money is worth, I believe they could continue to operate on that. With more people buying into it, I believe that the percentage could remain the same.
Alright, so I do have another question, right? So instead of getting rid of a meal plan, why not actually encourage off-campus people to put their money in Lion Cash?
Although my main focus is off-campus students, I do worry about on-campus students as well. Predominantly, the biggest chunk of people that are buying this are buying the plans that are not successful for them. Living on campus, you do have to purchase some sort of meal plan, so most people are actually getting hurt by this current meal plan. You're actually spending more money than you actually need to.
So could we instead have a motion that, since you didn't have to buy a meal plan,
rather than getting regular meal plan, like, I know I had meal plan 6, so I'm pretty efficient right now. I would like,
You're one of the smallest base possibility. There's over 4,000 students that have meal plan 3, and they're the biggest chunk losing out on money.
All right, further discussion on resolution 31. Representative Lucas.
Another question. Are we doing questions?
No, this is just debate. This is just discussion, but he's kind enough to answer questions, so go ahead.
Why is it so time sensitive that we endorse the plan today?
Because of your elections, this is your last actual standing meeting. I have another meeting in 2 weeks. So really, in 2 weeks, I'm going ahead with the meeting as it stands. I would like UPUA support behind me, but with your referendum and the percentages that have it, I believe it was over 50% wanted to open it up to an off-campus meal plan. I kind of have your support through the referendum. I would like it to be physically, actually stated that I have your support. But I'm really sorry for the time sensitive of this. I've been given the senior staff meeting in about 2 weeks. I'm meeting with staff this week to solidify my presentation, and unfortunately I couldn't show you. But yeah, in 2 weeks I'm presenting, so you guys will be in the middle of your elections.
Okay, Representative Karasik. Discussion on resolution 31.
I'm just a little concerned with this. I've actually looked into this a lot. I have lunch with Lisa Lindell about every month through different arch things and stuff like that. And actually the base cost is actually $1,195 per person, $1,200.
Online it's...
well, I mean, I'm looking at it right now, and I know that I mean, still, but Lisa's explained it to me that honestly, our food services department could not operate without the base cost, because food services is not a money-making operation, even though it's under auxiliary business services, and Lion Cash is not part of food services, it's part of the business, but it's different in that. And I'm just concerned that we haven't looked fully at this in the way that it would work. I think that we should encourage our students, our off-campus students, to get Lion Cash and use it on campus as such, so that our off-campus students are not paying you a meal plan, because in all honesty, I don't feel that off-campus students do get their work. The students who live on campus for 2 years, I do feel that I get my work, and I'm just concerned with abolishing all of work totally. I think maybe a better way to go about it would be give students the option of Lion Cash or Olive Oil.
You have to, Kayla, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this one, you have to buy a meal plan if you live on campus?
So what I'm saying is maybe we could advocate for giving students the option, Lion Cash or Olive Oil, something like that. But I'm just very concerned with switching over to Lion Cash because...
Can I ask what point system you're currently on for meal plan option?
I'm on 3.
Then you're actually losing out on money.
And I'm aware of that, but I'm also supporting the facilities. I mean, I work in the facilities. I know I'm losing out on money, but I go to Penn State, so I've got 3.
And it doesn't hurt the student body. I give full support to this because I think moving Lion Cash will it'll be more clear to students than if they're effectively spending their money. So it'll clear up any doubts from students on it. So I do have my support.
Can I answer? This is more answering towards Andrew as well. Because they're locked in with only about 13,000 students because the 30,000 don't want to buy into this expensive system. So yes, it'll become a free market. So Penn State will be slightly losing their monopoly on the on-campus students, but they're opening up, they're almost doubling their options, their marketing options to bring in more meal plans.
Okay, just keep the discussion on our floor here. We're the representatives. Representative Malloy.
Thank you, Representative Gordon. You were with us last year when we went through the referendum, and the results of the referendum were very large concern over there not being an off-campus meal plan. I'm glad that OCSU took the head and went and is working on this, and the way you're going about this by talking to UPUA, going to talk to ARCH, and going to talk to CCSG is a wonderful laboratory technique in order to get something that is the best for the students. So with that, I would like to endorse this. I've been a proponent of an off-campus meal plan for 4 years now. And I was initially concerned about bringing it to the floor by 2/3, but if you have a meeting in 2 weeks, we have our elections going down, you seem to know what you're doing, and I'm sure you'll be in consultation with members of this body who know what they're doing. Arch, and CCSG. So I would like to endorse that and endorse this. And if the liaison from Arch would like to speak, I would be happy to yield the floor to her. If not,
She has the floor. She has floor privileges.
Oh,
Yeah. Would you like to say anything? No? Okay. Mr. Gabello.
One of the reasons why I agreed to introduce this was the language of the actual resolution. Pat presented some pretty specific points that he's pushing forward, and OCSU's pushing forward. Obviously, that's not the final plan. That's kind of what we're going with now, the present plan. And if you look at the actual language on lines 7 and 8, it says you will support the efforts of OCSU, and then we try and provide some details, but no way would this resolution completely endorse every aspect of Pat Gordon's plan. And what it actually specifically calls is that once this is presented, there's going to be a long discussion. This is just the beginning. It specifically mentions that the plan discussion we brought back, and I talked with Pat before and hoped that he would work with the Governmental Affairs Committee and UPUA moving forward to provide adequate input and everything, or Student Life, as Steve now beckons. Either one of those committees, it would really fall in their jurisdiction, provide feedback, and really work with the OCSU to make sure that it's crafted, and when a final, definite plan is ready to be implemented, then we can have the discussion. This is more supporting the general idea, which, as clearly mentioned by Representative Malloy, that UPUA has supported, the students have supported the general concept, and I think we should definitely help bolster Pat's argument that this is something that needs to be looked at. Maybe not every specific we agreed to, but in general the concept needs to be looked at moving forward, and UPUA and the student body really does support in that effort. So that's why I didn't think it would be terribly contentious, because we are going to be hopefully discussing this next year in more detail and more concrete plans.
Representative Karasik.
I'm fully in favor of an off-campus meal plan, but in reading this and in analyzing this, this is not an off-campus meal plan as I'm reading it. Because as of now, our students do have the option, our students that live off campus do have the option to use Lion Cash, and they do have the option to use it both on campus and off campus, get their 10% on campus and their regular prices off campus. So the only thing that this is changing is for our on-campus students, it's actually now taking away their option to eat a la board meals, which yes, an on-campus student does technically perhaps lose out when you look at the final thing. Basically what happens is they're breaking slightly even and losing slight money, but food services is not a money-making operation. They actually lose money each year, and because of that, they use their $1,200 in operational costs to pay for overhead, including staffing and everything like that. The money that each person with a la board pays, that when I go in and I pay $2 for a cheesesteak at Blue Spoon, I'm actually paying for that food itself. I'm not paying for anything else because my $1,200 has already covered the staff to make it and all of the other stuff that goes into that. So if we were to abolish that, we end up with paying $8 for a hamburger and things like that, just because of the price difference in the way that food service is operated.
Okay, Mr. Cairns?
Basically, the language is so that if you want to make an amendment to talk about your point, it's basically just to empower OCSU to begin the dialogue on this. This is something they've been working on. Pat's involved us in discussions. I've sat in these meetings as well, and I think he's going down the right path. I think it's important that we support OCSU on this effort. So if there's something you have in there as far as on campus and something to look at, again, this is just him going out there and supporting the plan and us supporting his efforts, and I think that's important that we do that. And I know that I'll be involved in the conversation as well, because I know he'll keep us abreast of what's going on.
Representative Lohner.
I guess regardless of where you fall, whether or not you want Lion Cash or an off-campus meal plan or everyone on Lion Cash, I think that based on what Representative Corello said earlier about this being something we're going to work forward in the next year, we're going to focus on this hopefully the next assembly bill. I think it needs to be more solidified than UPUA supports, so I move to amend line 7, one of the line 7s, right under recommended course of action, and move to amend after UPUA, comma, through its Department of Off-Campus Relations. Is that the formal title of the department?
Yeah, affairs.
Affairs. Okay. Is there a second? Yeah, on line 7, page 1, it UPUA, through its off-campus student affairs department, supports the efforts, etc. Any objections to that amendment? An objection? And you have an objection? Okay, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. Sorry, Sam, it's nothing against it. I think it's actually better to have UQA. No, I think it weakens it by just saying that one specific department is going to support this as opposed to the entire UQA. I think, in my opinion, the wording is better as it stands.
Okay, further discussion on the amendment, Representative Lohner?
I kind of agree that makes it there that it's a little stronger this way, but if it is something we're going to be dealing with next year, it just formalizes the charge into a specific department instead of just UQA in general. I mean, I guess it could be assigned, and if people don't like the amendment, then that's what they should, then they should suggest separately vote. But I think that it would formalize the charge to a specific entity within UPUA, and that could only, that'll only increase the efficiency going into next year. We will know where this belongs, where this project came from, and where it should go.
Further discussion on the amendment, Representative Lucas?
I would argue, based on that point, that we shouldn't include the Department of Off-Campus Relations, however we phrase it.
Affairs.
Yeah, I think we should go to UQA right now. I'm sure expressing general support, but if we are going to move forward with specific plans, I think it should be a committee issues. I would say the Student Life University Committee should take this on next assembly, as it needs deliberation and much more thorough analysis than one department.
Okay, further discussion? On the amendment. Okay, if there's no further discussion on the amendment, are you ready to vote on the amendment? All those in favor, please raise your hand at this time. 34. Opposed? Abstentions?
I'm in favor.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Amendment fails. Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Karasik said that he is in favor, so, but the amendment fails 519-3. Further discussion on resolution 31. Representative Wallace?
There's a very hungry little boy who lives off campus and has a home on for like $200 in line cash every 2 or 3 weeks. I love this idea, but I just want to kind of get clarified. You said that we will not have line cash meal plans.
I will recognize you.
No, we'll just offer it in packages, as in you can pick any price that you would like. We'll just do package suggestions. As it is now, you're suggested to put in, probably about $1,500 to get meal plan 1. So we'll suggest that this is how much you plan to eat. It'll be the same calculator as you use now to figure out how many points you would actually need. So it'd be a $1,500 package, but it would cost you $1,500. It would actually be a direct pricing, I know. It's strange for them.
Representative Szymanski?
Someone explained to me on line 8, locking in line cash so it's not being withdrawn. I don't know what that means.
I'm going to refer to the writer of this document. Experience?
I refer to Pat.
Chair recognizes Mr. Pat Gordon.
Thank you. As you can do with meal plans, I would like to make sure that Penn State, to limit their liability, to limit their risk on it, is to lock money into line cash. That means that you can't just put your money in and withdraw. They need to be able to properly plan. As Andrew has said that they do need to plan out. So they need to lock in at the beginning of the year how much money they will have with line cash. That does not mean that they're going to know that all the money is going to go to their commons. It could be going downtown, but they need to know how much they're going to have, and we can't withdraw it at the end of the year. It's the same thing, you can't withdraw points right now, but these will roll over.
Okay, Representative Karasik?
I actually have an amendment.
Okay.
Line 32, where it says below is the new model being proposed. my amendment is below is a new model being proposed, and in no way is this resolution to be considered an endorsement of the following model.
Is there a second? You want to repeat? Okay, so under recommended course of action, it says the third stanza, if you will, below is the new model being proposed. If you would like it to read, below is a new model being proposed, and in no way
Is this resolution to be considered an endorsement of the following model?
and in no way is this resolution endorsement to be considered under the new model.
This resolution to be considered an endorsement of the following model.
Can you just kind of turn around and do it? Below is a new model being proposed, and in no way is this resolution to be considered an endorsement of the following model. I'm going to rule that ungermane. Mr. Gabella.
If you just say that this was a model being proposed, we're lending support to OCSU, and this is the model that OCSU is presenting. We're not endorsing every single tenant. To say that we're not, to in effect say that, you know, in no way are we endorsing the above tenants is completely contradictory to the resolution at hand. You understand that?
Okay.
If you completely don't agree with the premise of the plan being proposed, vote no for it.
Representative Hines, do you have something? Okay. We're not discussing that. Resolution 31, Representative Smith.
Right now, I was kind of going to follow along with what Andrew's saying, because I feel very conflicted over the fact that, like, we're being asked all or nothing. This is a resolution that cannot be amended whatsoever, and I don't like that about any resolution that's there always has to be the option for us to amend it. Basically, everyone that's gotten to say anything has been told, you know, it has to go as is. And you know, there's no, if the Assembly is going to endorse something, it has to be amendable. And I really feel strongly about allowing Andrew's amendment to continue, or anyone's for that matter. It'd be appreciated.
I don't really see a need to change the wording, and I also challenge the ruling on this resolution. It is simply saying that this model, that this resolution is not, it is, what my amendment does is say that that we are authorizing UA and the off-campus student union to work together to fully develop this plan, but it is not saying that this model is to be, that this resolution is to be considered an endorsement of that specific model. I don't see any problem with the resolution, and I disagree with your ruling.
Okay, so you're going to move to amend that again?
I'm not moving to amend, I'm moving.
The motion is to, overrule the decision of the chair. That's a 3/4 vote, needs a second, it's non-debatable. So if the Assembly members agree that should be included, seconded, and then we will vote.
Any objections?
Hello.
Do you have a question? Yeah, Representative Moore.
So, we are going to vote to overturn you.
Yes.
And if we do overturn your decision, we will then be allowed to vote on whether or not we should debate the amendment.
No, we'll go right into
Go right into the debate of the amendment.
Okay, thank you.
overturning the chair.
Okay, so if you would like to overturn what I said, please raise your hand at this time.
Point of order. How come we go straight into debate on the amendment? Because we can be opposed to your ruling,
But you want
still be opposed to
to discussing the debate.
So the
or
two
the-
should be voted on separately.
Sean,
Last meeting,
there
guys.
was,
Last meeting.
of course, it has happened in this last meeting. The motion was to amend the document. It requires a second to go to debate. That already happened. Valerie ruled the motion not germane to the document, which means the motion's killed. Okay. Now the motion that we're debating, right, or we're not really debating, the motion is proposed to overturn that ruling. So 3/4 vote. If that ruling is overturned, the motion's brought back to the floor and it's already in debate. So then we discuss the motion as Andrew has presented it, and then vote on whether to adopt that motion. Does that make sense?
But we can,
You don't have to debate to bring an amendment to the floor. It was seconded and then we debate the amendment.
Okay. So all those in favor of overturning my grand ruling,
The chair's
my grand ruling, please raise your hand at this time. Hi, please. Just on principle, just because I did it, that's fine too. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Opposed? So that means you're in favor of my ruling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Abstentions? 0. Motion fails. So now we can discuss whether we'd like to discuss this amendment or not. Representative Wendell. Yeah, resolution 31. Representative Wendell.
Okay, yeah, hi, I'm new, so I'm not really sure how to go about this, but I think we're kind of losing the point here. The point here is to, like it says in line 7, endorse the efforts of the off-campus student union towards creating this meal plan. And like, for some reason this forum like welcomes a lot of eloquent speech and kind of repetitive debate. I'd like to get away from that and get to the point. Perhaps we can just get rid of this part about the new model being proposed and just support the efforts, which I think is what Pat is looking for here. He wants support for his efforts. Okay, yeah? Thumbs up? All right.
So you have a motion?
Okay, yeah, I motion for amendment. I motion that we delete lines, this number.
Everything under below?
Well, see, we're gonna have to change a few other lines to make it all flow then. I motion that we delete the part about the new model being proposed, and then have it read, in the future, a plan will be presented to the UPUA that works towards the following improvements for students. So it's kind of combining the end of that line, and then we can go into the part where it's gonna help on-campus students, off-campus students, and both. That way everyone's happy, we're not supporting a specific plan. Pat gets his endorsement. This is time sensitive, you can get it before his meeting. Is that, did I do that wrong?
Is there a second?
Second.
Everyone clear on that amendment? Yeah. The amendment.
Guys, come to order. We're not, this is, laughing's not gonna make us do anything.
I apologize.
Representing your thought.
Okay. My amendment that I'm proposing is that we delete the section that said, that includes the proposed model. And whatever that 0 line is.
Okay, so you wanted to say,
Yes.
recommended course of action, UPUA, that line, the next line, and, that begins with and, the third line in, delete below?
No, I'd like to delete, starting at the line that says, yeah, below is the new model being proposed, all the way down to can apply to all Commonwealth campuses.
Okay,
I'd like
so
to-
it will read, in the future, a plan will be presented to the UPUA to reflect the progress of the plan, improvements for students?
Yeah, in the future, a plan will be presented to the UPUA to, I guess, work towards the following improvements for students.
Okay.
And then we go right into where it says on campus, off campus, and both.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any objections? Representative Malloy?
Yeah.
Object? Discussion on the amendment? Representative Malloy?
I don't feel that it's necessary. I also don't believe that leaving the improvements for students are relating to the model that is being proposed. So necessarily leaving that in there, I don't feel is necessary or proper. I believe we should leave the document as is and endorse the plan that OCSU has been working on. So I urge you to vote against this amendment.
Representative Karasik?
Seeing as this amendment basically is very similar to the amendment that I opposed, except with different wording and the removing of some language, I'm absolutely in favor of this, and I thank the representative for bringing it forward. Actually, I disagree with Representative Malloy because the improvement for students are completely separate from the model being proposed. The improvements for students are still able to occur with almost any other model. being proposed, because students who live on campus actually can currently use Lion Catch for on or off-campus purposes. They already do keep it on one card, and actually most of that already does happen except for the funds not expiring at the end of the school year. So I see no problem with the improvements with this amendment. I am recommending that everyone vote in favor of this so that UPUA is not committed to a specific plan, but we absolutely want to support Pat and OCSU moving forward in creating an off-campus meal plan that benefits everyone at this university.
Representative Szymanski.
Motion in favor.
Is there a second? Further discussion? Representative Malloy? It wasn't second. Representative Malloy.
Once again, we're living in this definite. It is a new model being proposed as originally written. It is being proposed. If you propose something, it is still up for debate, it is still up for modification. This bill has been proposed. Therefore, we are not fully endorsing 100% this is what's going to happen if we vote yes on this document. This is what OCSU is going to them with a proposal. Okay? Are they going to accept every single thing OCSU asks for? Absolutely not. There's going to be compromise, and there's going to have to be more debate. And this document says this is a model that is being proposed by OCSU. They will come back, they'll report to us, they'll work with us, and there has been guarantees given that they will work with other large student groups on campus that represent students. Once again, I stand opposed to this amendment.
Representative Wallner.
Regarding the language of the resolution, it clearly says, if you take out the one clause, it clearly says UPUA will collaborate with them to make this a reality. This is referring to the model proposed. So in terms of language, I think this clearly is what we're trying to accomplish, what Max is trying to accomplish, and what I support him. And I think this is a good amendment, and it fits with our interpretation of the language.
Representative Winkles.
Yes, I'm not sure when we can ask some kind of questions, but I think this would be I think this would be a really good time to ask him if this amendment would still, satisfy what he's looking for and looking to bring this around whatever administrators he's going to be talking to. Because if it does support that, I mean, we're making every single person in this room happy, and I see no reason to fight it.
Would you like to say something?
You get the floor.
You can have it.
Awesome. Yeah. Pretty much I just want UPUA support behind this, and any way you guys want to put it in there. I just want you guys to support OCSU. Pretty much me and you guys will team up. When I go into these meetings, I want to make sure that Gavin is there, not as Gavin the president, but Gavin representing UPUA, because this is what UPUA would like to work towards. Yes, I agree with Representative Malloy that I'm not solid on this. I'm not saying this is how it is or it's nothing. We're going to go in and we're going to debate about it. I'm going to be in there with senior staff, and that's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see that UPUA is behind it. And we can invite in your staff. I'd like you guys to come to a couple of the planning meetings that I have. But just because of the timeline, I need support today. So if you guys want to take out the actual plan, no problem. If you want to take out anything, just as long as the words say we support, UPUA supports the effort of the off-campus student union, you put a period at that, I don't really care. Thanks.
Representative Lucas.
Motion in favor. Second.
Any objections to any debate? Okay.
Did you withdraw?
This is any debate on the amendment.
Yeah. Okay, all those in favor of the amendment? Opposed? Abstentions? 1. Okay, amendment passes. For discussion on resolution 31. 2010-1. I'm sorry. For discussion, resolution 31. Representative Lohner.
What we have now is a resolution saying we support OCSU's efforts here, which is important because this is Obviously, the exploration of this kind of plan is what we're looking for. What we want to explore our options here, that's what we're now allowed to do, and what we're endorsing is an exploration, so I support that, and I move that today.
Any objections to any debate on resolution 31? Okay, vote. Secretary, roll call.
Michael Aldinger. Gretchen Braun.
Yes.
Justin Bish. Dustin Dove.
Yes.
Oh, I lied. Sorry. Flying competition here. Christina Voss. Gina Chang. Mark Cannon.
Yes.
Ralph Carvello.
Yes.
Dustin Dove. Robin Engel.
Yes.
Nicholas Heim. Hubert Hines. Yes. Andrew Persick.
Yes.
John King.
Yes.
Daniel Lurch.
Yes.
Sam Lohner.
Yes.
Benjamin Lombard.
Yes.
Stephen Lucas.
Yes.
Nick Mance.
Yes.
Aileen McLernan. Sean Malloy.
Yes.
Samantha Miller.
Yes.
Christopher Morrell. Christopher Knopf.
Yep.
Ellie Okelberg. Bree Patay.
Yes.
Greg Plum. Kelly Potter.
Yep.
Megan Quinn.
Yes.
Christian Ragland. Amy Sanders.
Yes.
Philip Slusser. Richard Tremansky. Colleen Smith.
Yes.
Matthew Smith.
Yes.
Michael Wallace.
Yes.
Max Wentos.
Yes.
Tara Zinger.
Yes.
Resolution 31 passes 30-01. Yeah, point of order, Representative Lloyd?
I believe there was a.
Yeah, 30-01.
No,
31-0, I'm sorry. 31-0, still passes though.
Alright, just making sure everything's cool.
Switch that. Okay. Moving on, liaison reports, Graduate Student Association, Joanne Olson.
All right, just one quick thing. Before he skips out the door, I just would be interested in knowing what the grad student impact of the off-campus meal plan is, but we can talk about that later. And then the second thing is, thanks for letting me join you all year, with the exception of the week that I had some intestinal difficulties that you did not want me to share. It's been a lot of fun to be here, so thank you.
Arsh?
Okay, I have a couple things. First of all, moving on is April 4th, 3 days after your elections. So whether you're re-elected, not re-elected, not running, graduating, whatever, you guys should come. So 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. Hub Lawn. Secondly, there was supposed to be a community service dinner. I guess that's for the
Community service.
directors
Yeah.
over there, something. Apparently it got canceled. Arch never heard about it. Everybody was prepared for it. So there's a communication breakdown somewhere. And let's just say that cannot happen again, period. So because we're trying to work for better communication, it doesn't exactly look good for your organization when our organization doesn't find out about things. Next thing would be that on Monday we are transitioning our new executive board, at least the two new vice presidents. The new executive vice president is David Schweitzer. The administrative vice president is Steve Roberts. They're both over there. So they will be transitioned in on Monday. We will pick treasurer and secretary the following Monday. And good luck to everybody who's running, not running, you know, that sort of thing. Good luck in elections. We are really looking forward to a fair and honest election. So.
All right, any questions? I'm sorry, I skipped over, but any questions for either of them? No? Okay. Thank you very much. Moving on, Representative Wallace?
Okay, I don't really remember. I know that Inter-Party System will be here, Socratic will be here, the Skill Drop Canvas is our headliner. Those are the 3 big acts that I remember. And then there's 5 additional student acts that were selected to battle dance on Saturday.
Representative Dove?
Right, you said the spill drop canvas or the spill canvas?
I don't even remember.
Okay.
Something spill canvas, something paint related.
Okay,
Yeah.
if it's a spill canvas, I approve. I don't know if it's a spill drop.
Yeah, I have no idea.
It's okay.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much. Moving on, report by the association directors and staff. Chief of Staff, Mr. Anderson.
Are we good?
Yeah, we are.
Okay, you have the final exec board report in front of you. It's riveting. This is my last student government meeting after 4 some years of service, so yeah, it's been fun. Good to spend it with you all. I'm going to miss these nights of productivity. Instead, I'll be at home wasting time when I could be here finishing my thesis. Would anyone else have any final words? Ricardo's been in student government longer than I have, so he'll talk.
I wrote on my name tag Father Time on the back, so I'm going to be keeping that. Just a quick thing, for those of you that helped with the Meals on Wheels bags, thank you very much. I know there were some of you in the UPUA office doing them. We finished about 38 out of the 50, so I'll make sure that the remaining 12 do get done and that they turned in and that the UPUA gets credit for doing that service. The final report was submitted with all the projects that we did. And just a quick note on the service dinner. We only had 6 organizations RSVP, and in the last 3 days, 5 of those 6 actually have been sending us emails saying, we can't make it, we can't make it, we can't make it. And this morning we had the 5th one, so it was kind of a hard decision to make, but again, we pretty much took everything that we did all work so that whoever does this during the next assembly doesn't have to do any legwork, they can just start implementing stuff.
All right, are there any questions for any of the directors? Mr. Gavello?
Ricardo, was Arch notified that the dinner was canceled?
I sent out a mass email and I had about 6 bounce backs. I apologize if you were one of the 6 bounce backs, but everybody else was notified. I really do apologize for the inconvenience. That mail is not fun.
Any other questions for any of the directors? Representative Karasik?
Yes, this needs to go to the treasurer, President Kieran, through Chairman Cavello. When does account 40 expire? Do you have any idea? Is that going to expire June 30th and just July 1, or imagine when you get the 140?
Mary is back there saying June 30th.
Yeah. I just want to bring up one final thing too. I thank Mike and Ricardo for the years of service, having them both back on the executive board this year. Special note to Mike Anderson. Mike is actually going to be the marshal at his graduation. He's the highest GPA in his whole college, so I think that's something to be proud of. So.
Okay. Any last questions for the directors? All right, moving on. Committee reports. Steering committee. Mr. Cavello. Chairman Cavello.
To answer Amy's question, my GPA, while not the highest, is not the lowest, as she just asked me. So that's okay. This is also my last chair report after 4 years in student government too. So I'm not sad at all. This is my last report. I had fun, and I thank you guys a lot for your support and bearing with this. Really, this was a transitional year. This is the first time the assembly was structured like this. Completely different from the last 4 years of student government. Hopefully, there are a lot of improvements. Hopefully, more improvements to come. And I look forward to your feedback. The chairs and Valerie were quite blunt at steering about some of my shortcomings and some things that need to be improved. So I would open up to you guys too to send me your email, or if you want to grab lunch or something. I'm always open to listen to criticism, explain maybe why things are done the way they are. With that, there is two things that should be added to the report. One is that I authorize something on the order of $52.25 to reimburse Richard for a frame for the governor's thing. He's putting in the frame so we can hang it in the Newbury office out of my discretionary account. Additionally, just to answer Mary's question, it was actually her predecessor, Dr. Lotta, who frosted our windows out of the hub budget, so I thought that was kind of funny. Also, in addition to that, there's a letter in the that Representative Slusser wanted to present to you guys. He's had some trouble in the last few months, and he has been part of UQA for a while. And I just wanted to have you keep him in prayers, read over the letter, and it explains kind of what he's went through. And I've spoken with him a couple times, and I wish him all the best. If you haven't signed the card, yeah, please do. And who has the card? Valerie's asking. Right here, Matt. Okay. So we're just bringing it up to the front. And I'll end the note on my committee report giving a little parliamentary procedure lecture, because I think that's only fitting, just to kind of explain what happened in the past for members. Basically, and I did this little orientation before, but you can amend any resolution, and that's encouraged, especially if there are problematic entities of it. However, you're not allowed to gut legislation as it's known. And the classic example is if you have a resolution saying we're going to spend $300 on flowers, you can't change the word flowers to candy. That changes the entire nature of what we're debating, and it's really should be introduced as a separate motion. When Andrew introduced his motion, Valerie said, well, that doesn't make any sense, and I told her, well, that's because it's not germane, and she used that language and presented. The reason why it wasn't germane, just to cap, is that the language says we endorse and support, or we support Pat Gordon's efforts. I'm not saying we support every single, the specific proposal, but we support his efforts, and the plan was his efforts. That's what's being presented. So we kind of just ignore the fact that that's what he's presenting, which is fine, we can do that. But that was his efforts. So to say we're supporting his efforts and then we're not specifically endorsing what his efforts are, that's a little contradictory. We just don't want to mention what his efforts are, which is what we did. That is fine. So just keep that in mind moving forward in the future, and there are lots of other parliamentary things which I'll probably be talking about, transition and stuff. It's not completely difficult to understand, but it can be a little bit confusing at times, so bear with us. Okay, are there any questions?
Any questions? Okay, thank you very much. Internal Development, Chairman Karasik.
I thought at our last meeting it would be fun to simply try to override at least one of your motions, Madam Chair. But regardless of that, thank you all for a wonderful year. I hope that you found I need to at least be working towards streamlining the affairs of this organization. That was our main goal this year. We have some things that we did not fully get to accomplish, namely the budget policy. We did not fully get to review in committee, and that will be the first thing that next Assembly's committee, ID committee reviews, because as they're getting $140,000 next year, we want to make sure that they have a strict budgetary policy in place. But I thank you all for all of your input. If you have any thing that you'd like to speak to me about, or any issues that you want me to include in my notes to next year's IB chair on how to streamline the affairs, streamline meetings, anything like that, please let me know. Thank you, of course, to Mary for the names in the hub elevators, and it's been a pleasure.
Any questions? Okay, thanks. Moving on, programming. Chairman King.
Alright, thanks everyone for a good year. You should have my report in front of you. We'll know about Wildapalooza on Friday. Hopefully we get all the funding we asked for. And hopefully see you guys all there at the end of the year. I'll stand for questions.
Any questions? Okay, thank you very much. Facilities. Chairman Mance.
I just want to thank everyone for a great year. It's a pleasure to work with all of you. I'll comment on these things a little bit further in our transition dinner and some other upcoming events. I just to my report. The next stage of the IM feasibility project has been kind of pushed back. I'm not sure exactly why, but I'll make sure to stay on that. Also, I've been talking to our arson liaison about delaying the meetings with the task force till after the elections because things are a little crazy right now. Both organizations are kind of in a period of transition right now. I'm still working on my transition binder and the review report. I kind of have some outlines for those. I should have those by our next week sometime. And next facilities board meeting is going to be April 10th. I'm going to have to kind of reorganize that. That's actually something I want to address in my transition binder and a report on how to better select members for that committee. But I'll make sure that all of these members are available for that, as well as the facilities and make sure wherever that might be. I will stand for questions.
Any questions, facilities? Okay, thank you very much. Academic Affairs, Chairman Smith.
Sure, I don't want to gum the floor with any more flowery speech, so here's my paper. I'll take questions.
Any questions for Academic Affairs? Representative Szymanski.
Why no flowers?
I've already been criticized enough for that tonight, so since this is everything that I've actually been doing, not here in this room, I'll just let it speak for itself.
Any questions, Academic Affairs? Okay, thank you very much. Governmental Affairs, Chairman Miller.
Couple things. I hope you all know this, but just in case you haven't, because we haven't had a meeting. The Governmental Affairs Committee did successfully arrange a meeting with Governor Rendell on St. Patty's Day, March 17th. We were able to discuss the Tuition Relief Act and the inclusion of state-related schools, and we felt like we had a very candid conversation with the governor, and I would like to congratulate the committee on all of their work and everything that led up to bringing the governor here. And if you have any questions about the details of the conversation, ask me after. I'd love to share them with you. Rally and Merchanda, I also want to thank the members of the executive and the assembly who attended Rally, and just to keep you all updated, QA Governmental Affairs did fund a bus for University Park students who wanted to travel to Harrisburg for that day. Finally, I do have a flower speech, not long, just thank yous. Thank you to my committee for all of their hard work this year. It's been a pleasure to work with you all, and really an honor to be able to lead you. And thanks to the Assembly and the whole association for allowing me to chair the Governmental Affairs Committee this year. I really enjoyed all of it, and I enjoyed working with all of you, so thank you.
Any questions, Governmental Affairs?
Thank you for the flower speech.
Okay, thank you very much. Diversity and Campus Life, Chairman Lucas.
Hi everyone. This is also my last meeting as representative. Decided not to run for re-election. But I would just like to show you guys my committee report. We talked about ideas for our committee, where we went this year, and what changes we'd like to make to the bylaws to reflect that charge for our committee. I will submit those to Chairman Karasik for his recommendations about the bylaws to the next assembly. I would urge the ID committee to keep Campus Life and Diversity together, and that is the belief of the committee. I just want to say a couple words, really quickly, I guess, because it is my last meeting as a rep. I just want to say I'm really inspired by the work we did this year. I know right now elections is, it's a very heated time. I think this should not be a time of division, but a time of debate. This is, a great, young, and evolving tradition of UQA. Just sitting in this room and debating these long debates and going through really rigorous discussion of what we do in UQA. We're all doing great work here to form a new student government. You all should know that the power of the student government is in your hands, in the hands of all of you sitting here and in the gallery, and in the student body. And I think it's an honor that we serve the student body and that we can debate these ideas in public and in this assembly. And I encourage you all to keep that in mind and do great work.
Any questions? All right, thank you very much. Comments for the good of the order. Representative Szymanski.
Yeah, I just want to also extend this is my last meeting as representative, and if I don't get to do the speech at the beginner, I thought I'd do this year. You've all done some great work. I'm very proud of you to have been a member of this. All the great work we've done, I'm very proud of, and I'm proud of each and every one of you for showing up to every meeting, voting. Although I may have never introduced a single piece of legislation, I was just very happy to have a voice in all of these. Whether I voted just yes on them or co-sponsored them, things like that. This has been an absolute honor to work with you people, and thank you for allowing me to be here and work with you as well.
Representative Lone.
Academic representatives who are senators, your term is not over. We still have a meeting April 28th. I've said this like 3 times now, but very important. And the April 28th Senate meetings, all of them, and bring your successors.
Representative Wallace.
Sorry that I missed the programming.
Report.
Thanks about that.
Yeah.
But I was trying to figure something out, and it was that Wallapalooza, the final budget, how much everything's going to cost was almost $63,000, which means the UPUA has to cover 20% of that, which is $12,500. And due to artist negotiations and things of that sort, we were able to cover a good portion of that, but leaving us needing to cover $5,250. And I believe that we have $4,250. Is that correct? So I guess this is the question, if I can ask you questions, directed towards Rouse or anybody up there. What do you do about that $1,000?
Well, if there's money in the executive for different things that can be covered, subcategories in Wallapalooza that can be covered, we can look at that. If not, you'll have to go to the next assembly to have them reallocate that.
We need it by
Well, we'll have to discuss afterwards. At this point, we really can't do anything now. We'll have to look at the budget, the different budget categories, and see how that can work. Yeah.
Representative Carrison.
Go to Wallapalooza.
One last time, best dressed this evening, I will give out 4, 2 men, 2 women. Mr. Wallace, once again, he even has French cufflinks on this evening. Mr. Mance as well. I do like the brown outfit you did to me.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Our 2 ladies, Ms. Smith and Ms. Boggs this evening. So come see me for your cookies. It's been an honor handing these out, and I don't think I'll ever be allowed to do it again.
Representative Shermansky.
I'd also like to thank Liberal Arts College for having Liberal Arts Week starting one day next week. We're going to be having speakers, we're going to be cultural fairs, things of that nature. Keep an eye out for flyers. It's starting all on Monday at 7 p.m. 112 Kern. And feel free, it's open to everybody. It's free. It should be a lot of fun.
Mr. Gravella.
On a serious note, just for everyone aware, I guess myself, Valerie, and the election commission is planning a transition dinner and orientation. Hopefully we're trying to have it before the seating of the next assembly. So try and be open. I mean, all of you are expected to come. That's where awards are going to be presented. It's a nice time to talk with incoming reps and orient them. And if you have any suggestions as to how it should be planned, you can talk to Valerie and myself. Also, your end of the year reports, a lot of you have been emailing them, that's wonderful. Make sure you give them to me or you won't get your membership certificate. Chairs, make sure you have a binder. Matt, if the chair wants, Matt turned in a beautifully written report that I'm sure his binder is just as well. So you want to come look at exactly what is a type of end of the year report for a committee chair. Come look at this. This is great. But all that's necessary to get into me. You are the representative until the new assembly is seated and sworn in. So keep that in mind. Once again, thank you.
Shermansky.
Could have emergency meetings.
Representative Wallace.
Just one more thing. If any of you would like to help Wallapalooza once we get the funding, please come see me and write down your email address and I'll let you guys know what's going on once I hear back on Friday.
Representative Quinn?
Just quickly, there's going to be a major rally for the Employee Free Choice Act this Friday at 4 p.m. in front of Old Main. The city inspector just announced his opposition to it.
This Friday at noon?
4 p.m.
4 p.m. Okay. Representative Knock? Yeah. I'm sorry. Representative Malloy? I thought you had your hand up.
Thank you. This is also going to be my last meeting as representative. It has been a lot of fun over the last 2 years to be involved in student government. I hope that, can I see the hands of everyone who is leaving, coming back, either because they're graduating or they're not coming back? Okay. All right. Well, for everyone who is leaving and everyone who is staying, please make sure you make sure everyone you know, empty your contacts on email, on Facebook, and in your phone that they vote in the election for UPUA. The more people we have vote, further legitimizes everything that we do. More, and hopefully the next assembly can carry that on. So once again, it was lovely serving with you guys, and just in case I don't get to talk at the transition dinner, I would like to ask those who are hoping to return, and then for the minutes, for the next assembly, that make sure, as an assembly, regardless of who's president, you have oversight and are an effective check to that president. We are the assembly, they are the executive. Regardless of who it is, don't stop what you're doing because the president has to do it, regardless of who it is. Please pass it on for years to come. And also, please try to, once again, directly engage students. I feel that was one thing that was lacking this year. So next year, as you pursue everything else, please go back, look at the referendum results we did last year, and go back talking to the students, directly engaging them. That is how you can be the most effective representative. So thank you very much.
Further comments? Mr. Corbella?
Very quickly, don't take your name tags, we're going to use them at the dinner.
Representative Wallace?
Very quickly, thank you, Mary.
Just for fun, I wanted to give a shout out to my dad who showed up this evening. He's back there. Hey Dad, thanks for coming. Any other comments? Okay, stay, don't leave. We're going to do closing roll call, and then per Ross' request, we're going to gather together for the end. Okay, Secretary, roll call.
Michael Aldinger, Mike Anderson, Gretchen Braun, Justin Bish, Christina Boggs, Ruth Kennedy-Raja, Chris Caswell, Gina Chen, Mark Cannon, Rob Corbella, Dustin Dev, Robin Engel, Pat Gordon, Nicholas Heim, Hubert Hines, Andrew Karasek, Gavin Kieran, John King, Daniel Larsh, Sam Molnar, Benjamin Lombard, Stephen Lucas, Nick Vance, Kelly McKernan, Kayla McPherson, Sean Malloy, Samantha Miller, Christopher Morrell, Xavier Munn, Christopher Knott, Ellie Ogelberg, Julian Olson, Bree Patag, Greg Plum, Bryant Toland, Holly Potter, Megan Quinn, Christian Ryland, Valerie Russell, Amy Sanders, Philip Slusser, Richard Jermansky, Catherine Smeals, Colleen Smith, Matthew Smith, Michael Smith, Ricardo Torres, Ian Dickery, Michael Wallace, Cindy Huang, Max Winkos, Justin Wiener, Kara Zinger, Nicole Zenny. All right, you ready? The third assembly is now adjourned.